What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. I'm your host, James Clifton, and I'm here with my good friend, Gary Bennett, who is currently camping and on a nice, squeaky blow-up sofa. Lovely.
Lovely.
Brilliant. The main talking point, obviously, we have got to talk about here is Emi Martinez's deal to Juve is off. However, Zion Suzuki is still on his way to Villa Park, from what we understand. Emi Martinez, it looks like he won't be staying, but he won't be going to Juve because literally, I think about 15, 20 minutes ago as well, Fabrizio Romano announced that Juve have agreed a deal to sign Vicario from Spurs. So who knows? Is he going into Spurs? Probably not. Can Emi go to PSG? Is that a possibility? Because obviously that was the deal that fell through with Suzuki. Who knows? All I know is I do not want to see him at another Premier League club, if I'm honest. I do not want to see him at Chelsea. I do not want to see him at Spurs. I do not want to see him at Man U or anyone like that. Go abroad, Emi. Go live in your sunny life wherever you want to, whether it's Spain or wherever you want to go. Just go for it. But anyway, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments as well what you think. We're also going to be touching briefly on the Mönchengladbach game, and we're also going to be touching briefly on the Consa stuff and Rimmer, who obviously passed away recently as well. So a bunch of things for us to talk about. But Gary, we're going to see how your mobile phone signal goes. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm in my happy place. I'm camping. This is my my abode, mate. I'm at one with nature on a Wi-Fi connection, talking on the internet. So right back to basics. No, mate, what a topsy-turvy week, of emotions in the Villa world, right? To the euphoria of the PSG game, to injuries, and now this Martinez saga is, a bit disappointing because it's not as snaky as Fabian Delph, but he confirmed that he was staying, and then to go that I know it's just words and football turns over pretty quickly, but is there a world where he stays?
I suppose yes, but apparently Suzuki, if he comes in, he's now number one. So yes, if Emi is happy to say sit second fiddle.
Well, because you think there's only a week left in the transfer window, it does, like you say, to wherever. And if you want to negotiate terms and stuff, I know football can move fast, but maybe stays till January and then goes to a preferred option. I don't know, mate. But look, I don't want Emi to leave. He's been an absolute servant to us, isn't he? And like everyone hates him. And like you said there, when he's with you, you love him. The shithousery, all the kind of stuff that comes with his personality. But the fact of the matter is, Emery said it at the start of last season, right, when he was on the tip of losing to Man United. I only want players here that are 100% committed to Aston Villa. And if Emery wants to leave, we can't be good. You might have said to you, didn't I, at the end of the season, that if he wins the Europa League, then he's done his job at Villa. He's won us a trophy, which he did. He played with a broken finger, for crying out loud, mate, and kept a clean sheet. So, obviously, be gutted. But I hope this doesn't turn sour with our fan base. I hope we can get a decent deal. Like I say, I think a preferred option if he went abroad. The PSG thing sounds like the right thing for me, because like you say, they were going to have Suzuki. What are we buying? A motorbike? He better be good in goal. Like I watched him.
Also, my father-in-law, all he's been singing is "Iron like a lion in Zion." That's all he's been singing. I was like, "That's gonna be his chant, isn't it? That's gonna be his chant."
But mate, with all due respect to Suzuki, he's obviously had a half decent World Cup, played in all the games. And I thought, okay, he looks all right.
He was good
for Japan, but he's coming out of nowhere. He's been playing in Belgium, and then before that, he's a young lad. What is he, 24, 25, whatever he is?
Yeah.
But he's not coming with a wealth of experience. So, yeah, I just hope that this is the right move for us.
Well, he's been playing in Italy, hasn't he? He's been playing for Parma.
Yes, but before that, it was Belgium and again, Italian league. It's a big upstep to come.
He was obviously, like I said, he was identified as our number one target as a replacement for Emi. But obviously that couldn't be done. So I'm guessing, Emmy was right. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. He probably knew that the Juventus deal was falling through. They wouldn't match our price. Suzuki wasn't happening. So we were like, well, we're not gonna sell you when we can't get a ready-made replacement in. And then PSG, that obviously happened. And then we were like, right. So we swooped. And then at that point, we're like, right, the deal's back on. Juve came back in. Apparently Juve only want to pay like 6 million or something for him. And we want 10.
It's an absolute joke what they're offering. Hasn't he got like? I mean, I know he's only 33. Like he's not for a goalkeeper. That is young, man. Keepers play until they're 40. I think that's an insult, to be honest. I don't blame Villa for turning it down.
Well, I think the way that they've been dealings just a bit, and so on, really, doing these small incremental low ball offers, and now they've gone completely elsewhere. So, I mean, So Emmy can stay.
I think Juventus, mate, gambling, bloody corrupt.
I think there is a world where Emmy stays if we can't find a suitor. I think with SCR now, through the dealings that we've done this summer, I think we're okay when it comes to SCR. We've lowered the wage bill heavily. We've got rid of a lot of players. There's a lot of amortization when it comes to these players that have come in now as well. So we haven't overstretched ourselves. It looks like Ruggeri, however you say it. He looks like he's coming in left back.
There's one thing here on every week we follow. If there's a name to butcher, we will do it. So
we will definitely do it. But yeah, it looks like Ruggeri's coming in. There's obviously potentially Suzuki, which looks like it's imminent as well. The links with Wan-Bissaka at right back. I still think we need a centre midfielder and probably another winger, I would say. And obviously if Konsa does go, which is still doing the rounds, then we'll need a centre back as well. I know it's a lot of change. And a lot of people are worried about this.
It's just a lot a week before your Premier League. How are you focusing on the game against Brighton when all this is going on? Like it's a long season, though, isn't it? We saw last week. You can lose your first 5 games. You're trying to prep, and I'm sure Unai Emery will be thinking, I don't want to start poorly again, right? So you're trying to prep for a game on Sunday, and that involves getting the team together, training, kind of knowing the team, working out what you're going to play on that day. And the fact of the matter is, still players could be gone, and you could be bringing players in. And how are they going to adapt? So this is going to be an interesting week to what happens and who leaves, because you just want it done. Because ultimately, if it happens in the next couple of days and Konsa goes, then fine. At least you've got a few days to try and get the team in, rally them round, say, look, and give them that speech that he gave them last year, and it took 5 games last year. But we've got to try and balance it somehow. And it hasn't helped, has it, with injuries to Gomez and Maggio? Because all of a sudden, after the Super Cup, I was like, you know what? I'm looking forward to that Brighton game now. I think they start. We've got, but what it means is we've got midfield, I think, will be okay. We've got makeshift midfield to kind of probably cope with Brighton. But that strike situation is a worry, because Watkins hasn't played a minute of pre-season. Like, he's been sunning himself, and now we're just chucking him in to start against Brighton in the Premier League. Like, he's not exactly a quick starter, mate. 30 games, 8 goals last season. It's like, and when you're looking at Maggio, young, hungry, and has just lit up pre-season in a way that I never expected, mate. I mean, we said on the podcast the other day with how excited we were to watch him develop this season and maybe be given a shot on thing. And sod's law, we say that and then 5 minutes later,
we need to stop talking about players that we like. What we need to do is start praising Bailey. Leon Bailey is absolutely. I'm so excited to see Leon Bailey. So maybe after 5 minutes at the end of this, he'll be gone.
Mate, I'm telling you now, if he's not out of this football club by this time next week, I'm telling you, I'm fuming. We're having a Bailey bashing episode next Monday, I tell you.
I saw Bailey bashing, love that. I saw on X earlier, Dan Bardell put a post saying, I've wrote a 2,500 word piece on Emmy Martinez leaving. Fuck my life. And then I was like, can you please write a 3,000 word piece on Bailey staying? And then he ended up fucking off.
We think this is the right fit for you. You are an amazing player.
But yeah, it's the thing is there's been a lot of meltdown, a lot of people talking about this rebuild and saying it's too much at one time. And I'm sure in an ideal world, this wouldn't be the case. Like in an ideal world, we would be doing this over the course of like 2 or 3 years. And we might have started it last season if we got the Champions League and we've been able to do it. And we would have started it last season, done half of it, then half of this season. But
yeah,
like I keep on saying to people, I'm like, the thing is we've got Champions League now. So the type of player that we can attract for the type of salary and type of money that we want to pay. So you think about it, right? I was listing them out to in our chat earlier, and I was saying these are the outgoings. So you've got Digne, you've got Tielemans, you've got Rodgers, you've potentially got Konsa, you've got Emi Martinez potentially. Those are the outgoings, and then these players who are coming in are costing the same amount, but are about 4 to 5 years younger.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that and you're going, well, you'd like to think then in 4 to 5 years, all those players will be worth double what they are now.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? Like, so as in, you are upgrading the team in the long term. And the point is that we can attract this level of player now. If we don't get Champions League again,
yeah,
because of the way we've done the books and the way that these players, because they're younger, they're paid less, all that kind of stuff. The books are better. So it means if we don't get the Champions League next season, we're still okay, like financially, but also we're able to track this level of talent now. We can't do that next summer if we're in the Europa League. So if you're going to do this rebuild, just do it. That's my opinion.
I don't disagree, mate. I think in terms of it's quite clear in the last few weeks what Emery's plan is, right? To do what you've just said, really upgrade, kind of start again, do it now, and so I think that would have been a plan that he had in place way before we knew about Rodgers and Tielemans leaving. I think he's not a man. He doesn't strike me as a man that goes into anything unprepared. Unai Emery. So I'm thinking that this was the plan all along, and actually, it's just about getting it done and rebuilding, and we've got to trust the process. And after the PSG game, you go, yeah, if you get that level of performance out of these players, like particularly even the youngsters, with the core base of experience we've got, then we're going to be okay, right? But it's just a little bit kind of, I guess, as a fan, we're sitting there kind of in the unknown, still not knowing who's leaving, who's going. The speculation, obviously, we're all sat on our phones, doom scrolling Sky Sports and the Athletic and reading nonsense that we don't know anything about, going, oh, no, it's all crumbling down, right? And it's not, and I think we will be absolutely fine. Now, obviously, it's not the ideal start that we wanted, but I think we've got to trust the process. And I think we just, like you say, if we can buy some miraculous situation, not miraculous, just Unai can work his magic again, right, and get these players forming today, and we do qualify for the Champions League, like you said, all we're doing then is we'll be able to build with experienced players, so we might be able to go and get a makeshift signing, and pay someone 250 grand a week to come to the Villa because and that again, you've got that balance of youth and experience with players that are developing, and mate, this is it. Unai Emery trying to break into the cartel. I wouldn't be surprised if the Premier League have him assassinated, because it's like he's doing it again. He's doing it again.
He's doing it again. We've told him. We've given him warnings.
We've took all his team. We've took all his money, and he's doing it again. How is he doing it again? What's going on?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's a difficult. I always hate, like, personally, I always hate it when. I don't know, not hate it, sorry, but like when we're not underdogs. So obviously we're underdogs here, right? Like now again, because everyone's like, oh, Villa relegation fodder, whatever is going to happen because our team's been stripped and stuff. But there's still going to be.
Mate. We're going to win the Champions League with our under nines. It's going to be brilliant.
But there's still now, because he's done it so many times, and also last season after that 5-game losing streak, we still managed to do it. There's the belief now that Emery will do it. So like, as in, whereas before, I think it was like, oh God, no, this is going to be the last straw. He's not going to be able to do it this time. Whereas now it feels like, yes, okay, people are writing us off. But I think this is the first time in a long time that I think that the Villa fan base are actually still expectant, which for me never sits quite right, because I like to set that bar nice. Like I do with the missus, set the bar nice and low. Set that bar nice and low, mate. and overachieve.
Mate, you're more negative than me this year. I was
Well,
below you, mate.
You know, like I look at it as another 3 to 4 season project. I think you know this is starting again basically. So yes, it might come off this season. We might do wonderful things again, manage to get that Champions League qualification and stuff, but I think realistically, I'm like sitting there going top 8, top 7. If we can get that, mate, again, and then we can keep this new crop of players, try and bed it, because you know players like John McGinn going to need to replace him as well. You're going to have Constance going to be going, Watkins will probably go, so there's going to be more movement next summer as well. And so you're then going to be this unrecognisable team.
I can see McGinn being the key to success this season again. Just because of like the obvious things he brings, right? You know, and we've talked about it so often and how much of a wonderful character and leader he is. And I just think with those youngsters and with his experience that he's got and what he achieved last season, and just watching him as soon as he's in the team, like against PSG, he's just we play with an intensity that doesn't exist when he doesn't play. So you know, and if you can get 60, 70 minutes out of him every game and bring on Alisson to go and run at players when they're knackered, then, mate, I'm telling you, that's a winning combination for me. I think we're going to see lots of exciting football. I think the issue will be is can we be clinical, you know, and we you know, as we touched at the top of the show, we kind of, you know, these injuries aren't ideal, you know, the question marks over Watkins, you know, if we need a little bit of luck. We need a little bit of luck as well. We need players to be able to stay fit. This is like Gomez getting injured and not being injured in 130 games.
130 games for Wolves, never injured. Alisson never injured before he came to Villa. What is this about?
But we've talked about this, mate. Like the level of training intensity goes up, right? You know, whether what Tillman said last week was true or not about the training sessions, they are relentless, and I think these players are having to adapt. But Gomez has probably never trained so hard, and therefore there's more pressure on his body.
Yeah,
and you get
I don't know how much it is about like physical intensity. I think Tielemans more meant it's just they're intense because it's just like we go again, we do it again, we do it again.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you do it till your legs are tired in training. Like in training, it's supposed to be like a lesser version of it. So, but you know, when you're training with that, there's nothing wrong with training that intensity, and it's. You know, and other coaches will say, well, actually, is he training too hard? Therefore, is it too regime? And if you're getting loads of injuries, because if you look at it, we have had lots of injuries. But players have gone each season to Emery are getting injured because the intensity is so high. And I think it's risky, right? You try and manage the balance of the team to avoid those injuries. And I just hope that Gomez is not one of these reoccurring ones where he keeps picking up little things because he's not used to that level of intensity. Maggio, I assume. They want to wrap in cotton wool and kind of because it doesn't sound as bad. They said September, which is next week, right?
He'll be back after the Arsenal game, I assume.
Yeah, so
which is a shame, by the way. I really wanted to see him come on against Arsenal and bully them. Desperate for that.
You know, maybe there's a world, mate, where you know Emery's keeping his cards close to his chest and he will be back for that Arsenal game. You know, he could be on the bench, and you know, we need a little bit of luck for these players to give a shine because, like you just said. Genuinely, I was excited about the Brighton game. Now I'm like, okay, what options up top? If it's Watkins, is he going to be on fire? Do you know what I mean? Is he going to be ready for the start of the season? And he needs to be, like he should be. He's played no football in the World Cup. He's had an extended break, right? So he should be coming back fresh, right? And when I say extended break, most of these players keep themselves relatively fit. It's not like before they'd have 4 weeks off and do nothing. They go away with their families, but they do high-end, high altitude, high temperature training, right? And so he should be coming back firing. And if it was me, I'd be looking at Maggio going, crap, this kid's the real deal. If I don't hit the heights, my place is gone because he's proven that he's just scored against the best team in the world and made their defenders look like fucking under 9 players. Like it's just you know, let's see what happens, but we won't know that until we kick off next week. It's a shame that once again that our first fixture of the season's away. But I understand more so this year because of the obviously work that's going on at Villa Park. But can we hit the ground running away? You know, I just hope Unai Emery has got some sort of magnificent plan.
it's an interesting scenario because, like, I think a lot of people we've been focusing a lot in preseason on the transfers and, like, okay, it was an encouraging performance against PSG. We obviously lost the game, but it was an encouraging performance against PSG. Does it concern you at all when you actually look at our preseason and see that there was only, I think, 2 wins in the whole thing?
No,
Walsall and BG.
no.
Was it
I get
BG?
it. Like I read something the other day. We've had results over pre-season have been pretty poor, but it's not about results. The team together and getting minutes and kind of assessing players. So I'm not that fussed about that, if I'm honest. Like pre-season means nothing. It won't. Like Spurs have gone unbeaten apparently in pre-season. I hope they get smashed for this season. Like I think with what's going on, the transition of Villa, I think this pre-season has been about getting a core of those players together to kind of get them ready for the start of the season. And so if you look at it, even the youngsters like for Hemmings and Maggio, you can see it's kind of they've been told to go out and play with some freedom rather than kind of maybe it looks to me like Emery's probably been up front. Actually, you've got a real chance of getting minutes, in the first team. So go out there and show me that you deserve to be there. And so, I don't think it means that much, mate. I'm not that fussed about. I never have been. It is what it is pre-season.
And who do you think comes into that holding role alongside Kamara? Do you think it's Barkley? I guess.
Yeah, I think it has to be, right. I think you could play McGinn there and play Alisson out, right. You could do that, but I don't. That's not McGinn's best position, is it? I don't think. He's got a few options, but I would suggest Barkley. I like Barkley. I think given a run of games, he can do a job, and he'd be fine alongside Kamara. I think Kamara's looked decent pre-season, but I mean the downside to that is that we're putting Kamara under immense pressure already when he's coming back from an ACL injury. Do you know what I mean? He's like, God, that whole season he's relying on this guy staying fit.
The second that guy falls over at any point in the game, everyone's going to be like,
yeah. Well, mate, there was a moment in the PSG game when someone fell on top of him on his leg, and I thought, no.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, the right answer. I think the whole winger situation is an interesting one because I think we need, and it's probably why we're getting Ruggeri in as well, but like the Wan-Bissaka links tells me that he's going to utilise Alisson. Because if we're bringing in Wan-Bissaka, who is a brilliant one-on-one defender at right back, he's more of a defensive right back, right? Yeah. That means you can have that winger bombing on, and it doesn't matter so much if Wan-Bissaka gets caught on his own at right back. Whereas with Cash, you're a little bit worried potentially if someone gets at him one-on-one that he's going to get done.
If you do that, you've got two duos, right? Because Cash plays really well with McGinn on the right because McGinn covers his ass big time and it allows Cash to get forward a little bit. And you could have the same with Alisson and Wan-Bissaka. It gives you a different way of playing with different players, right? So combinations, and that's important. That's what Emery's been about since he's come. It's about getting players working in partnerships around the pitch to get us progression up the field. So, I think I just want to get out of this no man's land, mate, and get these signings done. So if Wan-Bissaka's coming, right, get the deal done. Do it now. Get it done today. Get it done tomorrow, right? So he gets in and he can have a couple of days training before we jet off down south for Brighton on Sunday, right? So, but it is what it is. We know that footballers can move last minute. This could go right down to the wire. It might not. It might even go into next week, really, before these players come through the door.
I think it will. I think a lot of it will. I think the Martinez deal will linger on. I think the Konsa deal, where if it's going to happen, I think it'll happen late. Like, it could be this. It could be this really awkward thing, mate, where he basically joins Arsenal and he's playing us on the Monday night. Like it could be quite bizarre.
Oh God! Look at scrambling, mate. I don't see Unai Emery allowing Konsa to leave this late in the window. Like, I'm not saying he won't, unless Arsenal match the valuation of 65 million plus, which I don't think they'll do, right?
I don't think they'll hit that. I think if a bid comes in for 50 million, though, I think he goes. I think you've got 2 years left on his deal. Doesn't look like he's signed a new contract. You don't want to be in the Gay situation where next season he's then going on a free potentially. I
don't think it'll be this season, mate. I think like you messaged me and said like we'll look at the transfer windows as one. I think it's like I'm not going to be able to get if we get rid of Konsa, no one's coming in to
No.
replace him.
No, you got
Right.
Lindelof
Right.
there, and yeah.
It'll be Lindelof and Mings covering him, right? And you go, right? So I think Emery will be working his magic and saying, look, just stay till January and we'll get you moving January. And it gives me 5 months to kind of sort out a new centre-half, right? Because too much has happened in this short space of time with players going that to allow him to leave and leave us short to that capacity. I just don't think we've got.
It's such a shame. It's just a shame, isn't it? Like Graham was saying yesterday, he was saying you spent like 4 or 5 years basically developing this player, building this player up, and now he's potentially going to leave at this like really important time. It's like it's such a kick in the teeth. It's like so sickening.
Which is why I think he'll give us until at least January, mate. Because Conte's not a knob. I think he's a consummate professional who's worked very, very hard to get where he is. You know, if you think back 3 or 4 years when he really struggled, in fact, I think it was a 22-23 season. He was awful. Mings got injured, didn't he? Did his cruciate, and he really, really struggled. Yeah. And then Unai came in, and it's just been like a rocket, mate.
I think it only happens if a London club comes in. Personally, I think because he lives in London, and can you imagine that commute? Like if someone goes to you, I'll pay you more money, you'll be playing at the top end of the league, and you won't have to do that commute anymore. But okay, that sounds quite interesting. So I think that's the only way. I think that's the only way it happens. The thing is with the Arsenal move is obviously it's cover for Saliba, right? And the longer the season goes on, the less that period becomes where Saliba's out. So there's potentially, like, if it gets to January, then Arsenal might be like, you know what, actually, we just need to survive another 3 or 4 months. We don't need
Stupid Arsenal, mate. Bloody, they dismantled Man City yesterday, didn't they? 3-0. Or just
Man City, look, all over the place.
He's an interesting stat, mate, right, that I found out yesterday. Right, what do you think the odds are on relegation for? First, let's go with the Villa.
City?
No, well, I'll do Villa first. What do you think? I'll put for City, but we'll Villa first. What do you think our odds are of getting relegated?
Oh my God! I don't know, 40-1, 30-1,
80-1 for the Villa. 80-1 for the Villa.
Oh, that's actually better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, pretty decent, right? What do you think Man City is to get relegated this season?
It's got to be like 200-1, 120-1, 150.
14-1.
14.
14. Right.
What?
So I was talking to my father-in-law about it yesterday, and he was like, I can only envisage that there are some of them charges are coming. Right. Something's going to happen at Man City. Right. So 14-1. Right. I don't know the source. This is what my father-in-law told me. So it's if you're wrong about this, Craig, you're going to make me look stupid on the internet. But because he was so shocked by it. He said there clearly has to be something going on at Man City. And then you look at that performance yesterday.
14-1.
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, they're like, what? 14? What?
See,
that makes no sense, does it?
Right, it only makes sense unless those charges are coming and they end up with like minus 30 points.
Yeah, because Brighton are like 25-1, Spurs are 50-1, Villa 80-1, best odds you can get. Liverpool 750-1, Man U 700. By the way, how's that the case? How are they so far up? Arsenal 1,000-1, and it's like Man City 14-1. Mate, you can get them as short. Mate, you can get them as short as like 9-1.
Wow, mate, I don't know what's going on. Let us know in the comments if you. I mean, I don't care about Man City. I hope they do get a 40-point deduction, but that was an interesting thing that tickled my taste buds as to what's going on. And the truth is, and it just highlights for me, bookies have a win. We don't really know what's going on. Like with all the speculation we're talking about, we don't really know. But what we do know is Unai Emery is a man of integrity and will not leave this club short to a point where it's going to damage his progress, right? So going back to the Conza thing, I think he'll speak to Conza and say, look, you need to do us a solid. You could leave in January and you'll go as a legend. Right? You've built something here. We've developed you to a point where you've got a decent move, and we're not going to begrudge you that, but not at the genuine cost of putting us in danger of not being able to compete in the league, because while the deal makes sense for Conte personally, it doesn't make sense for us. He's still got two. If it was in the last year of his contract, I'd understand that he'd have to get done. But with 2 years left, mate, he's got to just. We can refuse that. Like we can say, sorry, you're not going.
For me, the thing he should really do, which is always difficult, but like, and also for him, he's like looking at it, he's going like, this is probably his last big move, right, or whatever. And he should be, if it doesn't happen this summer, he should be signing a new deal with a clause in it, and it's like, cool, go next summer, fine. Like, do your season this season in the Champions League with us, see where we can get. And then go with our blessing, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario, mate. Because it's a win-win for everyone, right? He's got keeps himself fit. He gets the move. We get the money. Everyone's a winner.
Yeah, and the clause might be something like 40 mil, something like that. Yeah. It's just a reasonable fee. Like, so we take a hit, but we don't then get nothing for him, which is the risk, right? If we don't sell him now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. Brilliant. Well, I think that about does us. We will be back on Thursday. Oh, Thursday. Maybe not. Maybe Thursday. We'll be back.
Yeah,
no,
Thursday, mate. I can't record first thing in the morning because it's GCSE results day, and we're getting them at 8. So might be able to do mid-morning Thursday if you can. But I can.
I can't do Thursday. We'll work out. But we will be back. Yeah, we'll be back probably Friday. For preview of the first game of the season. Premier League is back, baby. And
Brighton's back, baby. Come on.
Brighton,
might even try and get a Brighton fan on, mate, for a opposing view.
Yeah, I'll try and find. I do have a friend at work, but he never comes on. I don't know. If anyone knows in the comments, if anyone's watching this, if you're a Brighton fan, and you fancy coming on, give us a message. If you know a Brighton fan, give us a message. But otherwise, I think, by the way, at the Arsenal game, I think Alex Moreno, living in Miami, I think he's coming. I think he's going to be in Birmingham, mate. So we might try and meet up and actually meet him in person, which would be nice.
Mate, that'd be great. We can interview him for the channel. That'd be awesome. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Well, that about does us. Gary, do you want to give us your final thoughts and sing us out?
Final thoughts, mate. The final thoughts go to the late, great Jimmy Rimmer, mate. I was devastated waking up the other morning. And I know that you don't know a lot about him, but this was one of the guys that made me become a Villa fan. Campaign in the 1982 European Cup. He played in every game, and he went off after 9 minutes in the final. And a star was born in Nigel Spink, but apparently he'd injured his neck, and he was like saying he'd gone to the changing room to have treatment, and he was like, "Mate, just give me something. I need to go out and watch the game." Like, basically, I'm not missing it. And he got out in time to watch Peter Witt score the winning goal. And I just think one of the most underrated keepers of our time. But he kind of went into. I didn't hear a lot about him after the Villa, basically, and I know he played for Arsenal and another team. But that's where I saw one headline. Man United, I think it was. Sorry, it was Man United.
Yeah.
And it was. That's what the headline was. I'm like, no, this is a Villa legend. That's what it should be. He won the European Cup with Villa, and he gets that medal. But at least he played 9 minutes. Like he was on the bench for when Man United smashed Benfica in 1968 in the European Cup final. So he's got 2 European Cup winning medals, but never actually got to finish the game or play or partake in it. So that was a bit sad. But ultimately, mate, time is precious. And these legacy is built, right? None of us know how long we've got, and footballers have this unique perspective that they can have a moment in time that lives on forever, right? And people pass it down through generations, and you go, "Wow, man, it's special." And these things, like, it made me become a Villa fan. Watching that, like, there's some spectacular saves that this guy made in that build-up, mate. And I implore you, young people, if you're watching, not the older ones, you've probably seen them, but search it on YouTube, look through the archives of Villa and watch what he did, because it deserves a special mention. And I really hope, as he played for both clubs, Arsenal and Villa, on our first home game of the season, that we really put in a special tribute for him, right? Because he deserves that, I think. And so it was sad to hear about it, but let's not be sad that he's gone. Let's just be happy he was here and we got to experience him in the Villa. And so until Friday or Thursday, whenever, and we get that preparation for the Brighton game, which will be, again, another complete homage to Jimmy Rimmer. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue. Peace.
See
Shout
ya.
at the campsite because there's kids everywhere and they're making as much noise as they possibly can. Come on.